Hey everyone, it's Brian here from Massey's Main Entertainment. It's still that holiday season, so we're still kind of going at a semi pace because it's the holidays and we got family stuff going on and all sorts of other stuff. So we kind of ease back on the channel a little bit and just put out some information intermittently. And this week we decided we wanted to do the top debut albums of all time, and we're going to do actually the top 12. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to do that. I think Rolling Stones have done a list like that similarly in the last couple of years, and it was kind of interesting. And I thought maybe we could do that between the three of us. Joined today by my buddy Rich Strickler. I'm going to put a link to his channel down below.
What's up, guys?
And Doc's joining
Hey, guys.
us. Appreciate everybody showing up here. So yeah, top debut albums. I mean, this is always kind of funny. Elvis Costello had that famous saying that it said, "You have your whole life to make your first album." And then you only have a year to make your next album, because they always talk about that sophomore slump. So
Yeah.
Everybody's usually has a good debut album coming out of the gate, especially if they're going to be a great artist going forward in the future. So what we have today is we're going to go kind of around the horn style. What we'll do is Doc's going to lead us off today, and he's going to give us his 12. Then Rich is going to go second and give me his 12. And then I'll give him my 12 third. And we'll just keep going like that: 11, 11, 11, 10, 10, 10. And just kind of keep it flowing really nice. So we thought it would be really cool to do that. So guys, did you have a hard time with this list at all, or was it just fun?
Hard as hell.
Yeah,
That's my hard as hell. Yeah, I had a tough time narrowing it down to 12. I like a lot of debut albums, I think, and it's going to sound like a Doc top 12, man.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I had about 20 that I really considered, so I had to cut 8. It wasn't easy to do, but can't wait to see what you guys have. So
wow. I had like 16 right up until yesterday.
Oh wow, yeah.
Then it was like, all right, I think I got who's out. So try to spread it around a little bit. So be sure to like, sub, and comment down below. Give us your top 12. We really would appreciate it. And Doc, why don't you go ahead and get us started here? Let's have some fun here.
Here we go. It'll be it's a personal list. It's a top 12. All things considered, I don't have some of my favorite bands in my life on this list. So number 12 for me is going to be Pearl Jam 10. That's where I'm going to start. Kind of like a breakthrough album in the grunge era. And I think Pearl Jam, this is full of hits. You can go back and listen to this, whatever year we're in now. This is 30 some odd years later. We're listening to Pearl Jam's 10. It's a classic rock album. And I said it was tough getting it down to these numbers, but I got no problem dropping a number. I got Pearl Jam in here at number 12 for me.
Perfect. Rich, what do you got?
I noticed there's a pattern for me because I'm a classic rock guy. Just real briefly, all 12 of my albums are from 1967 to 1978. They're in that sweet spot. No, nothing before.
You're a classic rock guy? Wait, whoa, what?
Anyway, my number 12 is Steely Dan's "Can't Buy a Thrill" from 1972. Not as jazzy as some of their later stuff would be, but it still has those great arrangements, the cool lyrics by Donald Fagen, Walter Becker, of course. Do It Again and Reelin' in the Years, where the dirty work is an FM staple, and some deeper cuts like Midnight Cruiser and Only a Fool Would Say That. It's a really strong album, and I wanted to include it on the list. I'm a Steely Dan fan, and they launched their career with that. So Can't Buy a Thrill, 1972.
Nice. I'm a big fan of that album. That's my favorite Steely Dan. So yeah. And it was on my 16 list. Didn't make the 12. So. My number 12, I've got the Doors debut album, The Doors, listed on Rolling Stones magazines at number 86 for all-time albums. Went quadruple platinum. Big hits on there, obviously. My favorite song on here is Soul Kitchen. Break On Through, Light My Fire, and then, of course, the classic, The End. I actually prefer LA Woman more than I like this album, but I do like this album quite a bit. I'm a big psychedelic rock kind of guy, so I wanted to put the Doors in here, and they barely made the cut, though. So yeah. That's my number 12. Doc, number 11.
Number 11. This is sound like a Doc pick for sure, I think. I got Black Sabbath's debut from 1970, man. I like early Black Sabbath. I like a lot of early Black Sabbath, and '70s Black Sabbath is still have a soft spot for him, man. If I like, want to hear something like this is what I want to hear. This burst on the scene, took the music world by storm. If you want the truth, nobody heard this before. Black Sabbath is an evil, heavy, strong, loud rock music band, and that's what you get in 1970 with Black Sabbath and their debut. Even the title track's fantastic, man. So
it is.
Lizard, Evil Woman, fantastic, man. Number 11 for me, Sabbath.
Great underrated album. Everybody points to Paranoid.
Yeah, it was also great too.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah. My number 11 is Bad Company's first, self-titled Bad Company.
Yeah.
Blues rock, classic rock. Paul Rogers, one of my favorite vocalists here. The members of Free, King Crimson, and Mott the Hoople formed super group of sorts, Bad Company. The hits on here, Can't Get Enough, the title track, Moving On, Rock Steady, Ready for Love, Seagull, great hits.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to make my list.
Perfect. Yeah, these are all good stuff, man. I like it. Number 11 for me, I went ahead and put In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson here. The masters of prog rock, second greatest prog rock of all time, voted by most magazines, only behind Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark Side?
That's right. Well, only went gold, but I mean, gold back then, that's kind of a big deal for a prog record. Tracks to check out, obviously, are 21st Century Schizoid Man, which was actually sampled by Kanye West for a song he had later on in 2010. And my favorite song on here is Epitaph, big, epic, almost 9-minute track that's just actually just beautiful. Really, the album's probably mostly known for its very interesting cover, which could be scary for maybe small children below 6. But great. It's a great album. When I first heard it, I fell in love with it right away. So I wanted to include that here. Great album. So we're at number 10, Doc.
Number 10 for me. I go back to 1973. So at least I'm in the ballpark here for you. I got two 70s, Rich. So there you go. 73. Wow. I got Aerosmith's debut, Aerosmith, man. That's for me. I love this album. It's right up there for one of my favorite Aerosmith albums, but what an intro to bluesy rock in the early 70s. And the boys from Boston, I think, put out something really good here, man. Walking the Dog. They got it's like, it's a blues rock album. This is what this is. You can tell that this is what they were into when they made this. Moving Out, Making It, Mama Kin, just a rock tune. And the big hit of Dream On that introduced and kicks off their career. Aerosmith, man. It's a classic debut album in my eyes.
Wow. There we go.
Nice. My number 10, I had to have at least one singer-songwriter. I went with Jackson Browne's debut. 1972. Some people call it Saturate Before Using. It's on the title, but it's really Jackson Browne. I think it's better than Cat Stevens' debut and Joni Mitchell's debut and James Taylor's debut.
Wow.
This is the real deal here. Jackson Browne, reflective, intelligent songwriter. Just a few of the songs. They're not necessarily, Dr. My Eyes was the hit, but there's some great songs on here like Jamaica Say You Will, Song for Adam, Something Fine, Rock Me on the Water, all classics in my eyes. So that's going to make my number 10.
It's a real big surprise you got Jackson Browne on here.
Yeah, really, eh? Shocker.
Wow, shocker.
I do what I got to do.
Number 10 for me, I've got The Clash. I just, maybe, more so, I think we would all agree, more so, I like them better than the Sex Pistols by a long shot. And they got more stuff. And this album is better than, the Sex Pistols album. This one it's 102 on Rolling Stone's all-time albums. It went gold, which is great for a punk record at the time. Janny Jones, White Riot, and London's Burning are my favorite tracks on here. Just an absolute punk staple for anybody who wants to get into punk music. This would be one of the top 5 albums you hand to them and say, here, this is where you start, So got to have it in there. My number 10, The Clash.
Nice.
Doc, what do you got?
1978, man. I'm coming at you again. I'm rocking. What can I tell you? Van Halen's debut album, man. Van Halen.
Ooh, nice. Had to be there.
Had to be a classic debut album. I don't know, man. You really got me. Eddie on guitar. You're hearing Eruption for the first time, and you're hearing the band for the first time. If this doesn't blow your mind, then you don't like rock probably at this time in your life. I don't know what to tell you. It's Running with the Devil. And talk about love.
Yep.
David Lee Roth sounds fantastic. This is a kick-ass debut album, man, for a rock band. Van Halen's debuts, definitely a top 12 for me in debuts, man.
My number 9 is a little Southern rock. Leonard Skinner's, pronounced Leonard Skinner, 1973. This is an excellent album. Blues, Southern rock. Kicks off with I Ain't the One, and then a ballad, Tuesday's Gone. Give Me 3 Steps, Simple Man. Ends with a 9-minute studio version of Freebird. Just tremendous stuff. They got the triple guitar action going with Gary Rossington and Alan Collins and Ed King, and then Ronnie Van Zant's voice. Perfect for that style. So it's going to definitely be in my top 12 here at number 9.
Wow. Not a surprise.
No,
I figured
not a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even Doc probably had that later on. Okay, I know I'm sitting all by myself on this one here, guys, but I like my taste a little varied. Number 9 for me, I went to College Dropout by Kanye West.
Nice.
Let's put aside that he's a crazy man, but yeah, I mean this album, when I first heard it, it was recommended to me by Trey Holmes over at RTTC, and it absolutely, as much as I knew about hip hop, it absolutely blew me away. The level of production and sampling and mixing that went into this. It's one of those ones you have to listen to on the headphones. Just so well produced. He has such an affinity for old soul Motown music that he mixes in to his stuff that I think is great. He created with this album the genre chipmunk soul, where they take old blues records and speed them up to where they sound like Alvin and the Chipmunk, but they use it as a musical trope for the song. I just think it's absolutely incredible. It's number 74 on Rolling Stone's all-time albums. Went 5 times platinum. Check out the hits School Spirit, which had Aretha Franklin as a sample, and Never Let Me Down had Blackjack. Michael Bolton's old band has a sample in that song. So it's kind of an interesting album. Kanye's crazy, but he is a genius. So that was my number 9, College Dropout. Number 8, Doc.
Number 8. So I'll probably be on an island by myself here too. So, and you know what? If Trey ever watches this and sees us, he'll gonna sit there, Doc, why the hell did you pick that one? So, but this album means a lot to me. I think it's a fantastic debut album. I'm going with Meatloaf's "Bat Out of Hell."
Ooh, wow!
I like it.
Yeah.
This album means a lot to me, man. I know it's theatrical. I know it's got a whole bunch of other things. I think every song on this bloody album is fantastic. That's my take. From the Meatloaf's, "Bat Out of Hell" all the way through to "For Crying Out Loud." I can listen to every song on there and not have a problem, man. I think it's so well produced. Todd Rundgren, goes either way and stuff, but he produced something really special here, I think. Yeah. And Jim Steinman had a great idea. I think this is, like I said, it's theatrical. It's got a whole bunch of other tones to it. Musically, it's fantastic. Production's top notch, man.
Agreed.
I love this album. It's maybe a top 20 album for me of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
I like it too. I think it gets ripped too much.
It gets crapped on, man. It's all 40, 50 million copies, man. Yeah. I think a lot of people like it.
I don't have anything against it. I don't go out of my way to spin it, but I don't mind the album. It doesn't bother me.
No, it's a good listen, I think. I enjoy it. Rich, my number 8, I'm staying on my own island. We all have 3 different islands in this round here.
Yes,
I went with John Prine's 1971 debut, a folk masterpiece for me. Real hidden gem. I mean, the people that like John Prine know about it, but the rest of the world don't. I was a late arrival to Prine's music, and I'm glad I discovered him when I did. I just like his songwriting style. He uses humor in one song, and then he nails you with some emotion in the next, and very detailed about loneliness. There's some drug stuff in here as well. Small town life. Character studies within the songs. The highlights here: Illegal Smile, about maybe smoking a little bit. Hello in There, Sam Stone, which is about a Vietnam addict coming back and getting hooked on heroin. Paradise, Far From Me, Angel from Montgomery, and Donald and Lydia. They're all great songs. So that's making my list at number 8.
Wow, nice. I like John Prine. Number 8 for me, I went with The Cars. Really, really great record. Essentially the greatest hits. I mean, I would think a lot of people could make an argument for that. 6 times platinum, number 353 on Rolling Stone's list for top album. It's hard not to find a hit on here. Just What I Needed, My Best Friend's Girl, Good Times Roll, and the infamous Phoebe Cates theme song and Moving in Stereo. All great classic stuff. Love the Cars sound, and I've liked all their subsequent records since, but this album is just a special album to listen to from beginning to end. So that's my number 8. So Doc, number 7.
From 1973, it sounds like something Rich already touched on. It's pronounced Leonard Skinner.
Wow, you have it. Nice.
Yeah, definitely do, man. Yeah, I'm a Skinner guy, man. I think you know that, and we've seen that over the last little while. You're right, man. It's got my favorite song on there from Leonard Skinner anyway. Tuesday's Gone's my favorite. There's Simple Man, Give Me 3 Steps, like I said, Free Bird. This is I like my Southern rock. Yeah. And this is probably at the top of the list for me, man. What a great intro. And Free Bird is, it's gonna get crapped on once in a while and stuff like that too. But that 3 guys doing that guitar, so man, that's freaking awesome, man. So
yeah. That's the first one we've had any match at all so far, right? We were on our own until I think that's
that could be the first one.
So far.
There's so far. I have a couple waiting in the wings, but yeah. My number 7 is this might surprise people knowing what I like and what I don't like, but this is a great album. Velvet Underground and Nico, 1967.
Nice.
Kind of an art rock, experimental stuff. Andy Warhol. Scene. Lou Reed, pretty good lyricist in his own right. Drugs, sex, that bohemian avant-garde lifestyle that was going on at the time. Nico adds her own little throaty German voice to a couple of these songs, but I think they're well written and performed. Sunday Morning, I'm Waiting for the Man, Femme Fatale, Venus and Furs, Heroin.
Great
There
stuff.
She Goes Again, and I'll Be Your Mirror. I like all these songs, so let's make them my list.
Excellent. Number 7 for me is one that it's already been said, so we got another match here. Rich got me into Steely Dan, a little over a year ago. I got a year and a half ago. So Can't Buy a Thrill had to be on my list, no questions asked. Absolute essential album for anybody to listen to. It does have that more. For some reason, to me, it always felt like it was just that more accessible album too.
Yeah,
they got more and more production minded and quality and creative in the studio and stuff. And sometimes that didn't translate necessarily to like things being necessarily on the charts, but this one was really accessible to the masses. And Dirty Work's one of my, maybe top 25 favorite songs of all time. So had to put Can't Buy a Thrill on here at number 7 for me by Steely Dan. So another match.
Nice.
We're in the second half here now, guys. Doc, what do you got?
That brings me down to what, number 6?
Number 6.
Real shocker for you boys here, let me tell you. I got AC/DC's High Voltage, man.
That's kind of good.
This is the intro to AC/DC for me, 1970, especially the international release here. That's what I'm going with. It's a long way to the top. The Jack, Live Wire, TNT. Can I Sit Next to You? This is heavy, Australian rock and roll here coming at us. Heavy, but it's still blues. I've always said this, man. They are a blues heavy band. They always have that sound. And here comes the guitar hooks for the rest of my life from AC/DC.
Yep.
I love this album.
There you go.
Definitely the debuts. Yeah, this is in my top 12, man. Right in Doc's neighborhood.
No doubt about it. My number 6 is the debut by Boston in 1976. All 8 songs are played on FM radio to this day. You got Tom Schultz, the MIT engineer, masterminding in the studio. A lot of production on here, but it works. Brad Delp, great vocalist. Kicks off with More Than a Feeling. I mean, that's the first Boston song you ever heard when it came out. Peace of Mind, Foreplay, Long Time, a classic. rock and roll band, smoking, hitching a ride, something about you, and let me take you home tonight. That, and it flows beautifully if you listen to that straight through.
Yeah.
Great classic rock, sort of borderline arena rock kind of music. So that's going to make my number 6 spot.
Nice. Number 6 for me, I've got Led Zeppelin 1.
Yep.
By Led Zeppelin. I had to have it on here. It's my second favorite behind Physical Graffiti, actually. It's odd to think that. But 101 on Rolling Stone's all-time list, 8 times platinum, really more of a blues kind of album, more than I would consider, classic rock. I really consider it more blues, but Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You, Dazed and Confused, How Many More Times? That's my favorite song on here. Just had to have it. Led Zeppelin just kind of owned it. Once they started this little run of albums, they just kind of owned the nomenclature of classic rock for a long time. So that's my number 6. Number 5.
Number 5, Tal, here we go. I'll get this one out of the way because I think it's a classic rock album. I got one from the 80s here, man. I got Guns N' Roses' Appetite, man.
Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah, this is a kick-ass album, man. I don't know what to say. Obviously, I like my rock. You can probably tell from my list, but might change a little as we move along here too. But whatever the case, I'm still a rock guy, and this is right in my sweet spot. This was fantastic to hear in 1987, I'll tell you that, because this is something that we haven't heard probably since the late 70s, if you want the truth, in music. The debut of Guns N' Roses' Appetite is brought rock to the forefront again. The first song you hear off of this is Welcome to the Jungle.
Right.
Mr. Brownstone, Sweet Child of Mine, Paradise City, Night Train. There's a lot of great tunes on this album, man. That's almost basically a hit machine, similar to the Cars in one sense. It's a fantastic album. I think Appetite's classic. Number 5.
5.
My number 5 has been said by Brian. That's The Doors, 1967 debut. Jim Morrison, arguably one of the best frontmen of all time. It was a game changer as far as psychedelic rock too. When they say they're breaking new ground, they're breaking on through to the other side. No pun intended. I mean, that really was the case. Light My Fire's on here. Soul Kitchen, The Crystal Ship, 20th Century Fox, Alabama Song, The End. Just great music from The Doors. I like Ray Manzarek's organ too. It adds a lot to the music. A signature sound. Nobody else had that going on at that time.
Agreed.
So that's going to be my number 5.
Great choice. Nice. We're going to start matching up here, I have a feeling, as we get closer to the end, right?
Yeah.
My number 5, I've got REM's Murmur. Came out in 1983. Went gold. It was listed at number 165 on Rolling Stone's all-time albums. Really kind of like one of the top 3, proprietors of alternative rock, ever. They created the jangle pop sound, which really is another staple that other bands would copy throughout the 80s and early 90s as far as alternative or indie rock go. Radio Free Europe is the big song for them there. Perfect Circle, I recommend anybody who's never listened to that song, listen to it. It's beautiful. And Talk About the Passion are my favorite tracks on there. So had to have my REM. You know that, guys. It was going to make it. It's at number 5. So there it is.
Where it should be. Definitely. You have to have the best guys on here.
That's right.
What it's about.
Doc, what do you got for 4, buddy?
I feel bad that I don't have some of my favorites on here. So, but
no, come on.
Yeah, I do. I have some of my favorites, but some of them, it's not going to hit it. But number 4, Brian, here's a hit for us, buddy. It's the Cars debut, man. Yeah. Everything you said, man. Pretty much a greatest hits. Moving in stereo all mixed up, all the way from just what you needed. I'll throw one other song in there. It's my favorite Cars tune. Is Bye Bye Love is on this album as well. So
nice.
Like you said, this is a hit machine. This is a different sound, and the Cars takes music in a different direction here in this debut. And I think what a great way to end the 70s off with this one coming in, man. This is another classic album in my eyes. The Cars debut is number 4.
Can't argue it.
Yeah, my number 4 is Led Zeppelin's first album. I had to put it in here, even though it's not probably in my top 5 Led Zeppelin albums, but it is a great debut nonetheless. I like Led Zeppelin 2, 4, Houses of the Holy, and Physical Graffiti better than this album for my own taste, but this is still a great album. Blues, like you mentioned, and they just went on to dominate the 70s, both in touring and record sales and Good Times, Bad Times, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, Dazed and Confused, Your Time Is Gonna Come, Communication Breakdown, and How Many More Times.
Yeah.
What can you say? It's a great album.
It is. Number 4 for me. I don't know, some band called Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
There you go.
Awesome, buddy.
I mean, absolute. I can remember I was in the military. I just really was, getting into the Air Force, and this was just a massive, massive album. It's number 62 on Rolling Stone's all-time albums.
Oh, really?
30 times platinum, guys. It's 3 times diamond.
It was a monster.
That's just the absolute monster. It would be easier to list the songs that were not hit songs or that people did not like. But, Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, obviously, and Paradise City really were the big 3 off of the album. But you can't really put together one of these lists and not put Appetite on there. It's really hard to do. So that was mine at number 4. So we're circling down to the top 3 now, guys. I know you'd be happy, Doc. I knew I would make you
right
happy.
on, brother. Right on, brother.
Number 3, buddy.
Number 3 for me. Rich, it's Boston, man. Boston debut.
Nice. Good job.
Nice.
Yeah, this is another classic rock album. And you're right. Yeah, the first song you hear from this is More Than a Feeling. Probably the most underrated singer in all of music. Brad Dill, man. That guy could, said it before, that guy could sing the phone book, man. This guy, voice. Foreplay, long time, man. My favorite tune, Peace of Mind, awesome. Like you said, man, Smoking, Hitch a Ride, Rock and Roll Band. This album just kicks, man. This is one you don't do it too often, right? You drop it in, you start it, and you let it run.
Yeah,
that's what this album is.
Yeah,
Boston's debut album's a classic, man. Number 3 for me.
perfect.
Very nice. My number 3 is Elvis Costello's My Aim Is True. By far and away, my favorite Elvis Costello album. I came out of the gate swinging. I know he's got a lot of great albums. This does it for me. I mean, combination of punk, new wave, art, rockabilly, power pop. It's all there. 12 songs in 32 minutes. I mean, he gives you they're just coming at you left and right. From Welcome to the Working Week, Miracle Man, No Dancing, Blame It on Kane, Allison, a great song, Less Than Zero, Mystery Dance, Pay It Back, I'm Not Angry, Angels Want to Wear My Red Shoes. I mean, these are all great songs. So I had to have it high on the list because what I did was weigh what albums I would want to listen to the most straight through, no skipping, and that's why it's placed really high at number 3 for me.
Excellent. Number 3 for me. This might be our first trifecta. Truly, this is Boston.
Oh, nice.
Big Boston.
Right on.
Boston. I mean, truly that best indication. He worked so long and so hard on this album, producing it. And I don't care what he did with the rest of Boston's catalog. This album was enough to make him one of the greats as far as I'm concerned. Believe it or not on the Rolling Stones top 500 albums of all time, most recent list. It is not on there. Despite selling 17 million copies in the United States and 20 million copies worldwide. More Than a Feeling, you guys went over it. Rock and Roll Band, Foreplay, Long Time are tremendous hits. All of them are really great songs. Yeah. Just really surprised me that it did not make the top 500 albums. Just absolutely floored me. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they're elitist, highbrow critics, and they look down on it for whatever reason, but
it's crazy.
All you got to do is listen to it. You know it's classic.
Absolutely. Doc, what you got for number 2, buddy?
I got Led Zeppelin's debut, buddy. There's another one.
There we go.
Another one. They're coming at us.
They're coming now.
Yeah. Everything you guys said, How Many More Times, Dazed and Confused. The first song you hear from Led Zeppelin is Good Times, man. I mean, this is as another band that sends music on its ear, man.
Right.
Because you'd never heard anything like this at that time, especially when we went through our whole discography before, man. It was just year by year. This stands out as something really special. I know it's not their best album, but as a debut album, man, this just kicks ass. You want the truth. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I only had one higher than this one, man.
I
Absolutely.
agree. My number 2 is another trifecta, the Cars debut,
Oh, right
1978.
on.
Wow.
I have it really high. I think it's a perfect album. I like the two lead singers, Rick Ocasek and Ben Orr, trading different vocals here. The guitarist, Elliot Easton, is excellent. All those licks in there, there's power pop, new wave style, just fresh and original when it came out in 1978. It was a new sound,
Definitely.
and I love it to death. A Good Times Roll, you mentioned the Best Friends Girl, Just What I Needed, You're All I've Got Tonight, Bye Bye Love, and then the Phoebe Cates duo at the end here, Moving in Stereo and All Mixed Up. I love that. Just a great album. And there was only, like Doc said, only one better than that for me.
Nice. All right, they're going to pile up now here. Number 2 for me, Rich. I think Rich has already covered this one. Velvet Underground and Nico. Obviously, great staple for that underground psychedelic sound. It's tremendous. Number 3 on Rolling Stone's list. Wouldn't just platinum, but platinum. Like I said, for the times what you're competing against, actually a pretty big deal. Sunday Morning, Femme Fatale, Heroines, a great song. I'll Be Your Mirror, probably my favorite song on there. Actually, it was covered by a band called the Little Wretches, and it's actually about 8 times longer than the actual version that's on Velvet Underground. They just start riffing these lyrics, and it's all live, and it's absolutely incredible, though.
Yeah,
I love it. So, but I had to have Velvet here. I'm a big Velvet Underground fan. I wanted to put them pretty high. So
good.
that was my
Very
number
good.
2. All right, guys, this is it. This is for the whole thing. Number 1, Doc.
I got Jimmy, man. Are you experienced? Number 1. I think we could probably hash it out. If anybody disagreed with this, then there's a whole bunch of reasons why I could say this is the best debut album of all time. Outside the songs and everything else. This is groundbreaking music. This is with Jimmy. Nobody ever heard a guitar like Are You Experienced and Hey Joe and Purple Haze. It's the ultimate classic rock album, and in my eyes, the best debut of all time.
I have to ditto it. My number 1 as well. Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? 1960. Innovative, just extraordinary. Nobody ever heard guitar like that. And nobody's been able to duplicate it since. He's just a miracle that came along at the right time. Psychedelic music. He reinvented the wheel, so to speak, for that genre of music. And it's just so unfortunate that he died so soon, because at age 27, because who knows what he could have done after that. I mean, he just burned out. Better to burn out than fade away. Like Neil
Fade
Young.
away. Yep.
But the songs on here, Foxy Lady and Manic Depression and Fire, and even the American version, Purple Haze, Hey Joe, just on the Wind Cries Mary. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Everyone's a classic, so it's got to be number 1.
Drop the needle and listen. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, my number 1 is Huey Lewis. No, I'm just kidding. I was going to say Huey Lewis Sports.
4.
No, it's got to be Jimi Hendrix. Are You Experienced? Are you kidding me? That's insane if it wasn't,
Nothing close.
Man, the album, U.S. version, went 5 times platinum. Number 30 on Rolling Stone's list. Hey Joe, Purple Haze, Wind Cries Mary is my favorite song off of here. Yep. And obviously Foxy Lady. This album just, banger, 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 and just does not let up. So, and it's hard to argue the influence that album had. If you try to weigh that along with its commercial success and its accessibility, it's just it fills all 3 categories at number 1. So for me, it was like the first one I wrote down. Are You Experienced? It was no question.
Yep, that was going to be my number 1 from Jump Street, and the rest of the list had to fill in itself. That was definitely the best album, best debut.
Totally.
Yeah. Doc, did you have any honorable mentions you wanted to mention real quick? Or?
I'm going to say. You guys had mentioned Steely Dan. I had that written down as well. I had Dreamboat Annie. That's what I was considering. Right. I had Funeral from Arcade Fire I was thinking about. I had The Doors. Just it's not going to make my lists for me. And another one that I think still gets overlooked, and even while I had a couple, I had Ozzy's Blizzard of Oz as a debut for him. Stands out as a pretty good debut solo album, I'll say that. The Pretenders, Tom Petty, and last but not least, the Black Crowes, Shake Your Moneymaker, man. I think that's a really solid debut, too.
Yeah,
Rich?
I have a few. I'm including the Beatles, Please Please Me, just for sentimental sake.
Yeah.
Foreigners debut is very good. The Eagles debut, Dreamboat Annie, the Pretenders, music from Big Pink by the band, Chicago Authority I like a lot. And just for sentimental reasons, Bruce Springsteen's Greetings from Asbury Park. Those are my contenders that just didn't cut the mustard this time around.
Yeah, my last two out were Pearl Jam's 10 and Please Please Me by the Beatles. And really, the Please Please Me by the Beatles, man, that may be like my 7th favorite Beatles album. But right. It was the Beatles, and it's such a lot of good songs on there, and it kind of set the tone for what it was going to be like, So I thought it was important, maybe from a nostalgia's sake, to get it.
It had too many covers for me to put it in the top 12.
Yeah,
that's the reason.
It really kind of holds it back from that standpoint. So.
And Appetite deserves to be on too. I just, I'm not a hard rock guy. That's why I left it off. But it's definitely a contender. It's landmark.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what we've got. I mean, we would be really interested to know what you guys' top 12 are for sure. We'd like you to, like, sub, and comment down below. Definitely check out Rich's channel. We got a lot of stuff coming up on his channel. And we recently did a who should be in and who should be out of the Hall of Fame videos that actually got a lot of traction, a lot of comments. For a lot of various reasons, but check those videos out as well on his channel. Really appreciate everybody watching. Rich, thank you for joining us tonight. Doc, thank you for joining us.
You got it, man.
This was a lot of fun, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. I think our next video is going to be a Christmas-based one, so stay tuned for that one. That'll be lots of fun. So everybody take care.
See ya.